Before we get to your feedback, I just wanted to thank you all for your support and subscribing to the channel, watching my content, my live streams, liking the videos and streams. It means a great deal to me. We have reached over 3 million lifetime views total, and that's a big thanks to all of you, my awesome viewers, subscribers, fans, super chat heroes, members, mods. You guys are the best, and I do read over your comments. I don't always respond, but occasionally I like to do these feedback videos. And I thought we'd do one over my horse improvements video because I got a lot of great feedback from a lot of you who have watched this video. And thanks again for taking the time to watch my content and leaving likes. Definitely means a great deal to me. And if you don't like it, then you have a right to dislike it as well for whatever rhyme or reason. So let's get to it, shall we? I want to see what you guys have to say about horse improvements you'd like to see in Red Dead Online. Let's see. First, let's go with Gebel. I think it's Gebel. If I mispronounce your name, as usual, I apologize in advance. See, don't charge 75 cents for every additional horse. Imagine, in Grand Theft Auto Online, every car you own would cost you $750 extra every 48 minutes. That is a very valid point. That's something that I really don't think too much about, and I think most players don't because they're so busy playing the game. And just like in Grand Theft Auto Online, every 48 minutes, which is equal to a day in Grand Theft Auto Online and a day in Red Dead Online, you get charged like a stable fee, camp fee, etc. And he's right. You know, we're being charged per horse instead of just a flat stable fee. I think that we should be charged a flat stable fee instead of 75 cents per horse, which means if you have 10 horses right now, it would be, what, $7.50 a day you're being charged. Now, if you have a ton of money, you've been doing a lot of grinding, it's not a big deal, but still, it's not the way it works in Grand Theft Auto Online, where you're paid by what property, like you own a certain number of high-end apartments or garages or other properties. That adds up too, but that's a very great point. Moving on to Hank, let's see, Tagback, who is streaming. I think he was streaming, yeah, he's streaming some Witcher 3. There is a Witcher craze going on. I don't know if it's because of the Netflix series, which I need to binge, by the way. I hear Henry Cavill's amazing as Geralt, and I hear that the actress that plays Yennefer does a good job, too. So I definitely want to binge Witcher. I hear it's good. But Tag and see Fishy and others have been obsessed with Witcher's 3. I tried to get to Witcher's 3 like 4 years ago. I did some videos. Got my ass handed to me. But anyways, back to Hank. So Tagback mentioned horse blinders to improve horse temperament and skittishness. This is a feature from Witcher 3, and that's the segue right there. This would be a great addition to Red Dead Online. I agree. That's a great idea that Tag had. I'm glad you mentioned it, Hank. And temperament is definitely something that a lot of people, including Tag, myself, and others, weigh in when it comes to factoring the horses. And Daniel Cash, she also does that in her review videos, her overview videos. I hope she comes back soon because she does have some new horses to test out. It's been a few months since her last video, but Daniel Cass, or if any of you subscribers to her channel, hopefully she's doing okay. Haven't heard from her in a while. But yeah, I think temperament and skittishness is an important thing to consider when it comes to your horses in Red Dead Online, when it comes to like fighting NPCs or going up against predators like wolves, cougars, bears, alligators. Yeah, I think that's a good idea, adding blinders to the game for horses and make them actually functional. Now, we have horse masks, and most of them are obviously ridiculous, but technically a blinder would be a form of a horse mask that we could purchase to the stable, and if Rockstar made it more than simply aesthetic, then maybe it would improve the horse's temperament in Red Dead Online. So I think that blinders should definitely be a thing. And they could also like retroactive it to the horse masks in general. Just make horse masks, aka horse blinders, and then also add actual horse blinders to the horse mask category. That's a good idea, Hank and Tag. Moving on to Lanky. Let's see, I'm pretty happy with my horse, but I'd like to see a couple more bonding levels with cool benefits. Let's see, I don't know. Like, what other benefits are you thinking of, Linky? That's a very good question. I feel like it takes long enough to get up to bonding level 4. But, you know, it's an interesting idea. So, let's see. Jar says, why do you think there's animals? Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. But everyone's welcome to their ideas and their inputs and their suggestions. I think that level 4 bonding is fine. I just wish that it would also make the horse a little bit more loyal, because a lot of times it feels like it's just as skittish at level 1 as it is with level 4, but it also comes back to the horse breed specifically. Blondie, let's see, Blondie says, color variants would be nice, not rainbow colors. I'm talking about realistic colors available. I agree. I never want the game to get ridiculous when it comes to the horse colors, even though like I've mentioned before, I know I catch flack for this, and I apologize, but it is what it is. I do believe it's only a matter of time before we see mythical horses and other breeds in the game, eventually. But when it comes to animal pelts for like the actual horses, I want them to remain as realistic as possible. And hopefully we'll never see any chrome horses. But it's not out of the realm of possibility. But I see what you're saying, Blondie, and I agree. Let's see, Wilfredo, let's see, Will, let's see, horseshoes for stamina, improving speed, handle, temperament when approached by wild animals. I like the idea of the horse performance upgrade for horseshoes, like I mentioned, for like getting it on par with like other horses in its breed. But I think that Tag and Hank are right when it comes to the blinders being what would improve the horse temperament. So I think that's the way that they could hypothetically go if they wanted to. Let's see, Heartless Toaster. Let's see, I've had 18 total in the last few months. I hate discarding. Yeah, a lot of people hate discarding their horses, and that's a big reason why I'm surprised that to this date, Rockstar hasn't done anything about it. Even in Red Dead Redemption 2, you have the ability to get some of your money back for horses that you bought. Not much, but at least you get something back. So I feel like the benefits page and the coupons you get through the benefits page, that would be a great way to do that. Like every time you sell a horse or a saddle, you would get like a 30-40% discount coupon to spend on your next saddle or horse. Makes sense to me, and at least the players would feel like they're not getting completely robbed. Let's see, Zachary, horse temperament needs to be a stat. And yeah, a lot of people made this point. I agree that that's something they should consider adding, because of the points that Tag make and I make and Daniel Cass and others make when it comes to horses in the game. A lot of people just want a horse that's brave, that isn't going to buck you off at the first sight of a stranger danger, whether it's an NPC or a predator. So that's something a lot of people would very much like to see, is the addition of a horse temperament stat and core added to the horses. Let's see, Justin, new stirrups, the hooded ones are fugly or ugly. I know the hooded stirrups are ugly. I agree. It's something that I've had to accept. I mean, the good news is most of the time we're either in third person or first person, so you never really see the hooded stirrups until you're actually walking towards your horse or trying to take a sweet screenshot of your horse. But I'm surprised they didn't do something similar to the hooded stirrups that they do with the guns, like give you some different metal options to choose from, where you could like switch it to, say, gold stirrups or black metal stirrups, or you get the idea. That way, at least you could have a little bit of customization and some design options for the hooded stirrups. Maybe not the other stirrups, because at the end of the day, most of you want to get to the point where you purchase the hooded stirrups, and that's what I do. I don't buy any of the other stirrups. I'll wait till I'm a high enough rank, and then I just go ahead and buy the hooded stirrups for the Nacogdoches saddle, or most recently the Ivor saddle. See, Twitchy, I would just like the force slowdown when you're near a player or town in Saint Denis not to be a thing while riding your horse, and stop forcing my character to put my weapons from my back to my horse at the most inconvenient time while I'm trying to equip the weapon. Yeah, there's a lot of those little issues in the game that annoy players, myself included. Let's see, Critical Optimist. Let's see, this is what I wrote into Rockstar for a horse overhaul. Variable horse stats. Any given horse code can have a stat complex that can change and be improved. Horse training beyond horse bonding. One should be able to train their horse to improve any given stat category: health, stamina, speed, acceleration, courage, handling. I think that's what, let's see, I think that's what Lanky was trying to say. I think that's the point he was trying to make when it comes to like additional horse bonding levels through this horse training idea you have, Critical Optimist. That's a good idea. Let's see, wild horses. More types of horses can be found in the wild. Rare the horse, less likely they'll be found in the wild. But wild horses will tend to have diminished subpar stats due to surviving in the wild. One could pay money or gold to train them, or get the horse to elite stats beyond the max of the breed. May cost gold only. Some interesting thoughts regarding wild horses. Let's see, horse price is determined by coat and stay complex. We should be able to get whatever coat stat complex that we want if we have the means. This also allows us to pay less for a horse with bad stats so we can get the horse we want sooner, and we can pay to train it to improve its stats. Real Kentucky Derby style horse racing where there's an actual track with no nonsense. I agree. Weapons disabled would be a good idea, Rockstar. Something a few of us have been asking for over a year now. See, players can participate as racers or place bets. Top 3 get good rewards. Yeah, the podium winners, right? First place and second place and third place. New horse roles. Let's see, wild horse catcher, horse wrangler, horse trainer, horse trader, stable owner, horse racer. I would think that would be better if they just added all that into one role. And that way it was one role, but it would just give you like a ton of stuff you could do as a horse wrangler or whatever they wish to call it, or a horseman or a horsewoman. I think it would, I mean, I can see what you're trying to do, similar to what they're doing with the current roles, like trader, goes from trader to moonshiner to whatever's next. With bounty hunter, we'll eventually probably have a lawman role. I see what you're saying, but at the same time, it would be maybe better if they just condensed all that into one singular horse role, or horseman role, or wrangler role. And yeah, I really wish that they would just make it to where we had like the code options separate. And similar to how you do cars in Grand Theft Auto Online, you go in and you have a variety of options to choose from. Not a ton of options, but it would be nice if you had, like, you selected the horse you wanted, and then you just pick between 6 options, maybe more, depending on the particular horse breed. Let's see, Nimelix. Let's see, players, please fix the game and give us what we want. Rockstar, I said I have a plan.
I had a goddamn plan!
I'm terrible at impersonations. Sorry, Dutch. Let's see. Dead to the world. I get pissed every time I see another Red Dead Redemption 2 vid pop up.
Quick, duck and cover!
Whoa, calm down. It's not my fault. Don't shoot the messenger. I still can't play the damn game. Game's been broken for you since the Moonshiners update. Can't through any loading screens. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Dead to the world, but there's no need to get pissed at us. You know, look, we want the game to work just as much as you do, because we're also players, we're also gamers. So believe me, all the content creators out there, well, most of the Red Dead Online content creators, myself especially, wants this game to work. I don't want any of these damn issues. That's just me, though. See, Monica, hello Monica. I just don't understand why they'd give us coupons for horses and stalls but not give us any more stalls. They don't think anyone out there is full on both already. This is a very valid point, Monica. At the moment, we're maxed out at 10 stalls, and we don't have the ability, as I've pointed out, and you have pointed out, to actually make anything back monetarily from selling our horses. So a lot of players are less inclined to want to buy a new horse because they would like to get something back for a horse that they purchased that they no longer use or want or have buyer's remorse over. So, yeah, I'm surprised that with the Moonshiners role, they didn't add like 5 more stable stalls. I know sometimes I say slots, and some people get a little salty with me about that. I mean the same thing. Rasper, hello Rasper. I want my ranch so I can have a pasture where one could stable a horse so I wouldn't have to sell them to make room. Yeah, I think there's always going to be a limitation, even if they do like give us quote-unquote ranches in the game somewhere down the road, maybe if we're lucky. But it would be nice, though, if they eventually gave us properties to where it would give us an additional stable slot as well, or some stable space, similar to properties in Grand Theft Auto Online, so we would have more spots to store horses in Red Dead Online. Big Mule, they should add a pack horse for collecting and storing more pelts instead of using stupid hunting wagon. You know, that's something I know that's been mentioned, like the ability to use a donkey or a mule in that capacity. But it's the same problem that would arise, is you would call away your horse only to call in your packing horse. it would be nice if we had the ability to have both our horse out as well as the hunting wagon. I think that's something a lot of us can agree on. Let's see, Victoria, couldn't agree more. I would love to see the white Appaloosa brought in to online and some of the story mode horses as well. Me too, Victoria, and it makes the most sense because of the fact that you have all these horses currently in Red Dead Redemption 2 story, like the Rose Gray Arabian, the Brindle Arabian, the Few Spots Appaloosa, and a lot of the unique horses in the Vanderlyn gang. All those could be eventually added to Red Dead Online to purchase and have. Now, look, if they don't have a problem with adding clothing items for like Sadie, for Charles, and most recently John and Arthur, then I don't see the problem in them adding those unique horse variations to the stables as well. So hopefully they will do that as well, because the more horse options we get, the more stable slots, the ability to actually sell horses and saddles, and at the very least get a coupon back in return for selling them. That's all steps in the right direction, along with the idea for like a temperament stat and something to improve the temperament of the horses with like blinders, like Hank and Tag suggested. Let's see, Victoria also says, do you think we'll be adding some new horses soon? Victoria, I would like for them to add more horses to the game. And I don't know if they're going to add any to this drip fed run. Now, maybe they're hiding horses. I would like to believe that they would get to the point where they would at least give us a new breed once a month. Like with Grand Theft Auto Online, as some of you know, we usually get a new car at least once a week or once every 2 weeks. I know that's a lot different than a horse, but I do feel like it would be nice if we got a new horse, say sometime in January, and maybe another new horse breed sometime in February, and then by the next update, probably in late March, early April, somewhere in that ballpark, then we'd have, probably a new roll horse and whatnot. But we'll just see how it plays out over the next few months during this, what I call Apocalypse session in both Red Dead Online as well as Grand Theft Auto Online. I hope it's more than just simply new clothing items and hats, though. Let's see, Steve Waters, I'd like the next pass instead of masks be like native war paint for your horse, some kind of trinkets to hang on your saddle, maybe trophy related or something. I sincerely believe, Steve, that they will eventually release some sort of like Wapiti update, which will hopefully like bring the Wapiti tribe to the Wapiti reservation, and it'll serve as a new community, a new town up in Amberino. And hopefully there'll be like a butcher up there, maybe a medicine man, a medicine woman, and perhaps even like stranger missions or story missions from Eagle Flies, along with Rainsfall, Peta, maybe even Captain Monroe and some other Native American characters. And that would also be a good place for them to add the war paint and other things for not only our characters, but for horses too. Let's see, Mad Dog. Let's see, I would like to see all the saddles brought in line with the Nacogdoches saddle, especially the saddles that have to use gold to buy. Why is it only the ugly saddle that has the extra drain rate stat? You think the Nacogdoches is ugly? Seriously? I agree with Ghost. I don't think he's on crack, but I do think the Nacogdoches is a pretty saddle. Maybe Mad Dog meant another saddle, but I think that they're always going to have different saddles with different stats, pros and cons. And like there's pros with the Ivor saddle, but there's obviously an issue that makes the Nacogdoches still a little bit better than the Ivors in some other capacity. Plus, there's a little bit more options to choose from when it comes to the Nac. And I think they're going to have eventually add new saddles that are going to be superior to the Nacogdoches somewhere down the road. So I don't ever see that happening, unfortunately. But that's just the way these games are. I see Alan Lansing. I see this going in reverse regards. You buy the top tier horse, then you can, for gold, unlock an inferior horse goat. That's an idea as well. I just wish that they would make it to where we had the ability to simply just have more than 2 options per roll horse. Because I know some people will buy the mid-tier and the lower-tier horses, and that's your money, it's fine. But the way I look at it is there's only technically 2 horses that I'm willing to purchase, 2 options per roll, which are the rank 20. So the more coat options for these new horse breeds, the better. Let's see. Aiden, let's see. Maybe add a horse trainer instead of a horseshoe idea. Yeah, some people have mentioned that already. The idea for like a horse trainer roll, horse wrangler, which would also maybe be in line with ways to improve stats for your horse and maybe the temperament as well. Good ideas. Let's see. Greg Smith, let's see. You left 2 comments, so I don't know which one I should read first. All right, so we'll read this one, then we'll read that one. So if you notice, I'm trying to read everybody's comments that make more than one comment together. So let's start with Greg. Let's see. Since I'm commenting here, hooded stirrups in the game is just Rockstar selling a product for a game that's completely BS. Hooded stirrups simply would stop your foot from going through the stirrup and being drugged to death. Nothing to do with speed and endurance. Well, I mean, I think most of us are aware of that, Greg. But at the same time, video games. And that's just the way they're going to do it. It's whether you like it or not, that's just the way they do it. I know in real life it doesn't do the same thing and it serves a different purpose. Continuing, my comments here are based on riding horses in real life for the past 40 years. Whoever Rockstar used for their horses, gurus really screwed the pooch. They were clearly gurus that spent their whole life riding around in an arena with a fence. Every horse I have ever owned was exposed to all the animals in the game except the grizzly bear and the green snappy thing that lives in the swamp. Oh yeah, that green snappy thing with the sharp teeth. Let's see, they don't buck you off like they do in the game. I would like to see some kind of reward happen when you ride the same horse. You don't run into trees, crash when jumping fences. Simply feeding your horse in the morning and at night and snacks in between should automatically improve their stamina, the trust level, health, etc. As far as purchasing a horse in real life, just like in the game, if you want a special color, you simply pay more for it. Another idiotic plan by Rockstar was make every male horse a stud. Most horses should be gelded and not have clankers banging around. Gelding would be much calmer. Again, Rockstar should use real douche. Good points, Greg, and it's always good to see somebody that's actually an expert when it comes to real-life horses. And I agree with a lot of your points. But like I said, most of us realize it's a video game. But I do wish that since Rockstar is so committed to realism that they actually would have actually got some horse experts to come in and give them some pointers, some tips about the horses. And I do feel like it's kind of dumb that no matter how brave your horse happens to be when it comes to its temperament or its bonding level, that the first sign of a cougar, your horse is ready to buck you off and run. And there are some horses that are a lot more skittish in the game, but even the bravest horses in the game shouldn't do that. As long as you're like mashing the damn button, you should be able to get away from a cougar, or at least give you some distance where you can actually shoot the cougar without the horse 86ing you. But great points, Greg. Let's see, Gruntscos, they should have just add a horse, coat, colors, been something not linked to stats, just a customization option. That's what a lot of us want, and that's the point that Greg was making. That's the point I was making in the video, is that people that want the Black Arabian are happy to pay money for the Black Arabian, but it should be separate from the stats and the cores. That's the way it should be, and I agree with you, Grunts. Let's see, David Lutz. Let's see, I got the mid-tier Roadster because the code is awesome. The horseshoe is a good idea. Let's see, how about if they allowed us to craft some kind of special food that would speed up the horse for a while? Well, there are like stems you can give the horse that will help, along with the saddle and the stirrups, even though it's not realistic, but video games, once again. Honestly, anything is better than throwing out $1,000 at a time when the stables are full. Seems like this game is actually trying to make us frustrated enough to quit. Yeah, it still boggles my mind, like the way that they made the game when it comes to a lot of these issues that Greg and you guys have brought up. Things that would make sense in a video game don't even make sense in this game, like the coats. The coats should be separate, and there should have been options for the coats. Or the ability to, like in Grand Theft Auto Online, when you reach a certain rank in the game, then you unlock a new paint job, or a new coat in this case. But let's see, Lemmy. Let's see, not having to mash the X button forever would be nice. Yeah, that's something a lot of people have mentioned, Lemmy, and similar to how they changed, well, they gave us the option for fishing now, instead of having to like go crazy on the analog stick for fishing, even though it's more realism, I guess. Instead of having to do this all day long, like hurting your thumb and breaking your controller, like there's an option now in settings where you can actually just hold down a button, which makes it more convenient for players. I think that Rockstar should consider doing something very similar for options and settings for the horses. Once again, I get why we have to do it, but video games. Let's see. Juan. Hello, Juan. Let's see. Hate to beat a dead horse here. So funny, Juan. But let's keep pressuring Rockstar to fix the game first. Heck, I've been disconnected while trying to log in a few times today. Let's see. How do you get disconnected before even starting? Unfortunately, it's happened to me plenty of times, Juan. And I agree with you that we have to continue tweeting Rockstar, sending them the feedback. But at the same time, I think it's important for us also to be optimistic that hopefully Rockstar will fix the issues in the game. Hopefully. And going forward, Red Dead Online will survive, and we as a community will continue to grow, and we'll continue to enjoy the game, and there will be future content and other things fixed and improved in the game. And so I think it's great for us to get together and talk about ideas that we all have for improving the horses, for example. And it also helps get our mind off the other nonsense in Red Dead Online. Plus, I've done a few videos already going over those various topics. And usually, at least once during the stream, something tends to come up that easily reminds me and reminds all of you of the nonsense we have to endure. Let's see. Zek, horse coats. I agree. More horse coats. And Ghost, yes, we know you want the Rose Gray Bay Arabian. So do we. I definitely want that horse. Absolutely. JDR, motorbikes. Maybe bicycles, JDR. But once again, that has nothing to do with horses, but it would be a good, I guess, alternative form of transportation for players that don't want horses. I mean, obviously, bicycles were a thing in the late 1890s, and Rockstar already has bicycle mechanics from Grand Theft Auto Online. They like to port over their mechanics from one game to the next. I could foresee them eventually adding bicycles to Red Dead Online as a vehicle you could purchase and use to get around on instead of a horse. For those of you that rather have a bicycle over a horse, but I don't know if we're ever going to see motorcycles or even cars, because there were horse vehicles that were motorized in the 1890s, but they were very, very slow, and you're better off with a horse anyways. So I don't know. I seriously doubt we're going to have motorbikes in Red Dead Online JDR, but maybe at the very least, bicycles. It's better than nothing. Once again, thank you so much to everybody that took the time to not only watch my Horse Improvements Ideas video, but for leaving a like and leaving your thoughts, your views, and opinions. Your ideas are fantastic, by the way, and it's another reason why I love doing these feedback videos. I throw out my ideas, and you throw out your ideas. We go over them together, and hopefully somebody at Rockstar is actually paying attention. That would be nice, and maybe they're jotting down some of these ideas, and maybe there's a Planderlin out there once Rockstar fixes all the issues that are obviously plaguing the game that we're all aware of to improve horses in Red Dead Online. Because we love our horses, but it would be nice if we had more coat options. It would be nice if we could improve the temperament. And we could also maybe, the blinder idea that Hank and Tagback had was a great idea. I like it. It would actually make the horse masks useful more than cosmetic. And they could also add actual horse blinders to the horse mask category. That would make sense. There's also a lot of great additional ideas to add towards a future horse wrangler role or horse trainer role or whatever they end up calling it, which would probably involve the Davies twins most likely. And definitely, as we've pointed out time and time again, we need more stall space for our horses. The ability to actually get something back, like whether it's a benefit coupon for selling horses that we no longer want, that we've paid money for, or saddles even, because we're also limited when it comes to saddle space. And more saddles will come down the road that'll be superior to the Nacogdoches. For those of you that don't like the Nacogdoches, I think it's a nice looking saddle, but beauty, as they say, is in the eye of the beholder. Anyways, hope you all have a fantastic weekend, the first weekend of the decade. And if you have any suggestions for a future ideas or thoughts video, feel free and leave them below in the comments section.